Hello everybody, thank you for joining me today. We are continuing on with our startup cost report as part of our financial analysis toolbox series, and I'm really excited to show this to you. It is such an important and key report, and we're going to get started straight away. We're going to jump right in. I'm not going to spend any time on an introduction today, so let's get started. In this example, a person wants to start a travel business. She's saved £3,000 to get her business started. She's applying for a bank loan of £5,000 and needs to provide a startup cost report to secure the loan. She's researched her likely startup costs and estimates that she'll be in a startup period for 12 months. After that, she expects to be turning a profit and will be able to pay herself and make the loan repayments. The startup capital is needed to pay for her initial costs and marketing for the coming year. So let's look at the layout and the setup of a startup cost report. The top section here is all about funding and investment, and you might have different sources of funding or income to get your business started. It might just be you. In this case, it's just her, £3,000, or you might have multiple owners. If you're seeking loans, bank loans, or other types of loans, you will list them here. And if you're seeking other types of funding or grants, for example, you will list them here. In this case, she's putting in 3,000, she's requesting a bank loan of 5,000, and that means a total startup funds of £8,000. And the second section here is how she plans to use that money. So the cost section is broken into two sections, the setup costs and the running costs. The setup costs are those one-off costs that you incur to get your business started. The running costs are the costs that you're more likely to incur every month for the duration of your business. So those are like your regular costs that you plan to keep incurring. In this case, she's planning on having an advertising launch and she's budgeted £2,000 for that. She's going to have to spend some on materials, communication setup, for example, phone and website, equipment. She wants to buy a laptop, for example, and some legal fees that all total £5,100 for total setup costs. These are the costs that she's not going to have to incur again. Then we come to the running costs, and we've got things like communication, so email, phone, accountancy fees, advertising costs or budget, website costs, insurance costs. These are going to be regular monthly costs that she's going to incur probably from now for the entirety of her business. Things will change slightly as time goes on, but this is what she's expecting to pay. Either she's found out by research or estimates and budgets, and that's going to be £235 per month. Now, then she needs to decide on what her startup period is, and she's decided 12 months. How she's made this decision is in conjunction with the startup cost report. If you're making a startup cost report, you should always have the cash flow forecast working in conjunction with it. So we've looked at some of the other financial forecasts that we would use in our financial analysis toolbox, and if you're more interested in that and looking at how these link together and how to create these reports, there is the Business Builder course that I run that we go into this in a lot more detail than what I'm going to do today. I'm giving you a very brief overview today. But essentially, you will use your cash flow forecast and you'll be logging your income and your expenses. And this will form, these sections here will form the bulk of your expenses, especially in the early days. And there will come a time on your cash flow forecast where you might be making a loss and you might be breaking even, but then you'll start making a profit. And there'll be a time where you will see that the business is able to pay for itself. And when that time is, that's when you've ended your startup period, essentially. So that's how she's figured out how long it's going to take her to be in this startup period, and she's got it down as 12 months. So 12 months worth of running costs is £2,820, and altogether those costs is £7,920, which is perfect because she's only asking for a £5,000 investment. She's already got 3,000. That means she's got 8,000 total, and she's going to be spending 7,900 in total over the 12-month period. Often lenders, particularly if it's lenders or loans, they want to know that you're not asking for too much money and you're not asking for too little money. They want to know that the amount of funding that you're asking for is literally going to be used and accounted for nearly to the penny, and that there's no wastage or deficit happening here. I mean, £80 is not that big of a difference. No one's really going to question that, so she should be okay. Behind this startup cost report, behind this financial breakdown, you will always have an actual written report which details every single line of the costs here that you're planning to spend. You're going to want to talk about what that cost is, why you're incurring it, who you're paying it to, and what the expected outcome is of this cost, how it's going to get your business running and trading. That is very, very important. And the other area that you really want to focus on is salaries and wages. In this case, the owner is not taking a salary or wage from the business in the startup period. I think she said she's going to do so later on. After startup period, when the company starts making a profit, she'll then take a small income from that. But if you're getting a loan or any investment that you have to pay back, they often want to know how you are going to support yourself in order to make those payments. So if the business doesn't work, they still want to get paid. And if that money is coming from you personally, you need to be able to justify it and say, how will I be able to pay you back? So behind this report, she will also have a personal income statement, a list of personal expenses, what her surplus is every month, and how she'll be able to use her own funds to make the repayments if the business doesn't work out and doesn't make a profit. Alternatively, if the business is making a profit and she's going to be paying the loan back through the business profits, then she want to again use the cash flow forecast to prove that and explain how many repayments she'll be able to make, or what level of repayments she'll be able to make every month or every quarter to the lender. And the only other one is grants. So if you are applying for a grant where the money is not, you don't need to pay the money back, but often they've got very specific eligibility criteria. If you're applying for a grant that you need to meet, they're not going to be so interested in salaries and wages because they're not asking for the money to be paid back in those circumstances, but they will be very interested in what you're spending the money on. So you can have grants that are very specific for research and development, technology, hiring, for example. You do have some that are specifically for employing staff, or anything like that. You'll want to make sure that you have that category in these costs to justify what you're spending that grant money on. And in the report behind it, you're going to want to go into a lot more detail to explain how that grant funding is going to support your business and support the aims, and make sure that you're meeting that eligibility criteria. When it comes to the actual, so you've done all your budgets and things like that, and now you've gone on to your actual spending, you're going to record again what you actually put into the business. Did you actually put in that £3,000 you budgeted? When you do get your bank loan or any of your funding sources, put those figures in and have a look at your totals. And when you actually start to spend the money, very, very important to keep an accurate record of what you're spending in each of these areas. In this case, for example, she budgeted £1,000, but she actually spent £890. That means that she spent £110 less than she expected, but it could go the other way. She could end up spending a bit more, and you're going to want to keep track of that. Now, the important thing about the actual section to keep a record of is your bookkeeping records. Okay, so you need to have really good, accurate bookkeeping records, because when you spend this money, you need to be keeping your receipts, your proofs, your evidences, your time, date, when and wheres. Keep them safe, keep them stored. Either create an income or an expense report as well, in addition to your other financial forecasts and reports that you're using, or a bookkeeping process that you're on top of on a regular basis, particularly in the startup period. Because when it comes to running your accounts, if you are trading, if you are a registered business, paying your taxes, even if you're a sole trader, for example, you need to have that bookkeeping evidence, the backups, the receipts, the proofs of what you've spent in order to make your claims or submit your account, etc. But even better than that is if you are incurring startup costs way before you actually start running the business, and you've got that evidence there, you can still make the claims. Even if, for example, you had a 3-year gap, and I bought a laptop for my business 3 years ago, and I started running the business and operating today, I can still claim that laptop as an expense for my business as it happened today. So having these accurate records is a major, major benefit for you. Now, we will talk in a lot more detail about how to use a startup cost report. There is a lot more that goes into it in terms of what comes behind it. Please remember that a startup cost report should go hand in hand with your business plan. Even if it's not your first business, if you've already got a business and you're looking to run and open another business, you will want to make justifications to the other investors or shareholders, for example, that may be involved in the situation. You should have a working business plan. You should have all of your working financial forecasts that go hand in hand with this startup cost report. But in terms of securing loans or investments, this is one of the main reports that they're going to look at. In addition to your business plan, they're going to want to know your startup cost report. What do you need my money for? Where are you going to spend it? How is it going to make the business work or make the business be a success? How am I going to get my money back? Those are the really, really important things that people are looking at when you're asking them to loan you money. If you want to know more about that and you want to look at it in detail, if you're looking to start a business for yourself, I do have the Business Builder course, which goes through the entire process of choosing a company structure, getting set up, implementing good business practices, implementing your own bookkeeping practices, doing all of your financial forecasts, everything. We go through absolutely everything in the course. So that was quite a lot for today, and we're going to end it here. Stick with me, because the next one is I'm going to show you how to make this for yourself. It is super easy. It's basically just adding. It's really, really easy. So I'll take you guys through how to actually learn your own startup cost report in the very next video. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you found the video useful, and look forward to hearing from you. Bye.